Oh yeah, I mean, shit. Andrew Garfield and Willem Dafoe are just the stars of this movie for me. Like, apart from all the other, just from Tom Holland being such an incredible actor, I love Zendaya in this movie. I love Jacob Batalon in this movie. I like seeing their character growth. I like seeing, even at the end, even though it is heartbreaking, knowing that
still alive.
And this
so whoever did this isn't a lethal protector. That's promising.
Or sets the tone for what the rest of Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Spider-Verse will be. I don't know, man. It was
sorry I missed the action.
I'm kind of at a loss.
Thanks for keeping us safe, Spider-Man.
I thought Matt Murdock was...
You're back already? I thought you were checking out that fire.
Right. On my way now. Which way was it again?
Last time you went that way. South.
Thanks. Gotta let it turn around. Someone's impersonating me. Could be the chameleon again. I've got to pick up his trail.
And like, look how much he's lying about it. He's like, you guys are really disappointed. Sorry, I'm not in the movie. I'm so sorry. Like, and then, but Matt Murdock was on the opposite end of the spectrum where he's like, please put me in, please let me be Daredevil. And they played that so perfectly because, like, I just didn't expect to see him in this movie. And so that was really, really damn cool, and that did happen. I'm really happy that, I was feeling different ways that Greg was feeling during the anime scene. When she gets hit, I go, oh shit, she's dead. When she gets up, I'm like, fucking Marvel, dude. You can't let her live here. Like, after you do that. And Andy
it does smell like there was a fire in this direction.
To killing her. I can't believe you're not committing to this. But the scene kept on going, and you started seeing, I just thought she was shell-shocked.
There's the fire damage.
Kind of like
looks like it got put out quickly.
But it kept going
looks
long
like the
enough
fire was caused by an electrical short. He used the fire escape. Guess he couldn't copy my web shooters.
It destroys you. And I thought that scene was incredible. There was some messy stuff where I didn't love Alfred Molina's coming back. That redemption moment.
Hey, Spidey, what'd you do with that fire extinguisher?
Fire extinguisher, huh? Wonder where he left it.
It worked for me the way I wanted it to.
My doppelganger used a fire...
Quick thinking with that extinguisher, Spidey.
Fire extinguisher, huh? Wonder where he left it.
So heartwarming and just adorable. Oh, goddamn.
I think everyone's out safe.
Just like, this movie
nice work,
made me
Spider-Man.
Teary-eyed multiple times. Like the ugly open mouth crying. Like
You came back! I can't thank you enough for saving my friend. I thought she was dead.
My pleasure. Look, I want to make sure everyone's safe, but the smoke kind of got to me. Do you remember where I went next?
Sorry, I was helping my friend. I think you went back up there.
Thanks. Give your friend my best. Whoever faux Spider-Man is, he's helping people. But what he's doing is dangerous. I've got to find him.
Yeah, by the end of this, like, I gotta see this game.
How good was it when they're running out and they all start webbing and they're all timed in and then they web each other to like propel? Oh my god. Like what a moment. The guys move around and we all have so much history. You know? Like damn, how can they do this? Of like give us closure in their story. A little weird with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man being like, well it's complicated. It's been 20 years, guys. Like how have you guys not sorted out you and MJ?
If we're jumping into that right there, that was the part I definitely didn't like. What I didn't like about it was the follow-up. It's complicated, blah, 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 and then me and MJ make it work. I was like, wait, what? So, yeah, what? Like, what does that even mean? Like,
My job that she was also married to someone else, yada. But then he was like,
so he's talking about it was complicated. It was complicated, but we made it work. And that over the I lost that narrative thread there. It was kind of poorly written, that line. He should have just said, you know, it's really complicated, but over the years, it's sort of we get
I mean, this movie is so good. Like all the action's amazing. Like the Ned, like his relationship with Magic, and like there's so much comedy sprinkled in. Like it's insane that they have dramatic moments where people are like the what's his face catches her. Spider-Man. Huh? Garfield. Yeah, Garfield. Thank you. Garfield catches her.
Peter 3.
Yeah, Peter 3. That's right. catches her, we have that very, very somber beat that, frankly, is beautifully acted. Like, he nailed that emotion for that moment. Like, you can feel it. And then what immediately cuts to Ned getting caught, or like falling, and then getting caught by Doctor Strange's cape, and it's just like, it was hilarious. Like, the room went from silent, taking in that moment, to like full-blown laughter, and like being able to juggle that is, to me, like insanely incredible. Yeah, this movie is so good.
Spoiler-wise, what do you want to talk about, Nick? Just the idea that a lot of this movie, 100%, like, there's a lot of this movie that should have been left in the cutting room floor, and I'm glad it wasn't. In other movies, if I had seen a lot of these scenes in improv, I'd have been like, oh my god, they shouldn't cut this out. And some of the stuff went a little long, and a lot of it was very indulgent with a lot of fanfare, right? But I'm very glad they left it in, because it was a fitting farewell to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. It was kind of the resolutions that they deserved. I was shocked that they were able to actually have a fitting arc for Andrew Garfield's character in there, because we really did leave him in a dark place. And I remember I walked out of the theater thinking, hey, Sony makes interesting decisions with their Spider-Man properties. Why not make a third Andrew Garfield film? Right? I'd watch it. Talking about that after the end of our review for Amazing Spider-Man 2, I was like, I like him as this. I think he should get one more crack at it. And now that he's got it, I'm like, kind of thirsting for more. But the thing that was really, really impactful for me, and I think the thing that makes this film so special, one of the reasons why it works, is that moment with Cameron, and the fact that they decided to make her the Uncle Ben character. I did not see it. It came out of left field for me, and I thought to myself, what an inspired and heartbreaking choice.
He used a fire extinguisher.
It was absolutely the right one.
What type of suppressant is in this?
Incredibly impactful, and she was able to deliver the famous line, but it had a slightly different meaning this time, which I think is a perfect. It's kind of a perfect illustration, example of what the MCU Spider-Man is compared to the other ones, right? There was kind of more weight behind it, because he's already made the choice to be a hero, and he wants to be a good hero. But what she's telling him is, sometimes that means you have to really sacrifice, and it's going to suck. And you have to, like, what makes you a real hero is even facing those sacrifices and all that trauma, you keep going. And that gets echoed again when in that one little line where it's cheesy as hell, but they're like, let's go kick some ass. And then Tobey Maguire's like, no, let's go save some ass. And it's so cheesy that is sort of the theme of this movie, is like, and it's echoed, and again, the last
Cure that ass.
Cure that ass. I'm still not saying that ass. Cure that ass. And then there was also the moment where he's kind of standing over her tombstone, and it says, like, I forget what the phrase was. I tried to remember it, but then there was
when you help one, you help it. When you help someone, you help everyone.
Everyone, yeah. And that's what it's all about. Her telling him that hit so much harder than any of the other Uncle Bens, just because we've been with Marissa Tomei now for a few movies, so we weren't seeing her coming, and B, they actually managed to set up her character a little bit more in a way that I think it helped back it up, right? We've seen her in the prior movie; she was doing that thing for the charity, right? She's worked with these things before, so there's a little bit more set up there, as opposed to, like, for instance, like, and this is just an example, Greg, I'm not pulling this, here we go. Order.
Here we go.
Ghostbusters 2, where they're like, we just need someone to work in a museum. Let's just have Sigourney Weaver work in a museum, right? And it totally felt like it was completely unsupported. Whereas in this, you're like, it's believable that an amazing character like works with these charities and with homeless people and people who are like, down on their luck and stuff like that. And that really, really helped. And you see, I love that moment where she's like, you have to help me. He's like, I should have. He turns to her, he's like, I should have listened to Doctor Strange. I should have killed him. And she goes, no. Like, you did the right thing, even though she knows she's about to die. That was perfect. That was just a perfect moment. And Tom Holland, right after his performance, was just so gut-wrenching and good. So good in that moment.
Sam, quick question for you, just while we're here getting into the weeds of Spider-Man fandom. When you help someone, you help everyone. I remember being a big part of Spider-Man PS4. Did they give that to May, or was that something I don't remember from the comic book before?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of those type of lines are always vaguely attributed, even to begin with. Like I don't have that specific line, but even with the great power, great responsibility, I want to read this to you guys because it's kind of interesting. The often quoted phrase, great power comes great responsibility, is widely attributed to Uncle Ben in the comics, but it first appeared in Amazing Fantasy 15, the first time Spider-Man, in which it's not spoken by any character. Instead, it's a narrative caption at the comic's last panel. And the quote is actually what she says in this one, which is, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. But what's interesting is the line almost kind of got a Mandela affected, where it really didn't rise to prominence until the 2002 Sam Raimi movie, which makes sense, right? Because that really was the mainstream boom of Spider-Man as a character. But the first time Ben ever said it was in 1972. But
ADP,
it was like
pretty standard,
thing. It wasn't
and
until,
easy to
like,
track.
even in comics, until 1987 that he first actually said it, which is really crazy. But yeah, those things are always the kind of, like, how many different ways can we phrase the thing? But I loved it in this one. They did it. They stuck to the originals, and to have Toby kind of finish the line in that scene was like incredible.
He got fire suppressant on him.
Yeah, totally.
If I key my lenses to track its chemical signature, it should lead me right to Spider-Man 2.0. He's walking normally, no webs, no powers, which makes what he's doing suicidal.
God, it was fucking odd.
Russian guy in a mech rider.
I just threw back to my rhinoceros.
I do kind of wish that moment we got a little bit more into them, like having more, like, you know, greater lives than what we were seeing. Because it did feel
about it. Sorry, go ahead. Please.
No, I was just saying, it did feel a little soft to them, just to reference stuff that we've already seen.
Yeah, I had that conversation with him afterwards. So, like, when it happened, I was like, all of a sudden, like, leaning in, like, are you about to talk about your adventures you had, or is it like to come back and keep it to what you've done before? I hear you, but I think then it gets even more confusing of, like, you know, what's been going on, or how are you gonna do that, and how much cool shit happened off camera.
I'm the biggest sucker for that type of stuff, and I love that type of lore, world building, Easter egg type shit. But I think that with what this movie accomplished and did, I think it was key that they didn't do it, because, guys, for months I've been saying the success of this movie in my mind is really riding on, are these actually the characters from the movies that we knew, and can they make that work? And they were, and they did. And I think that because of that, adding more stuff than we knew, I think could have, like, messed that up potentially. And I think that because they kept it straight and kept it literally to the canon that we know, it allowed the moments to hit harder. And then Garfield, like, him just saying, like, I stopped blowing my punches, we start filling that in, and I think that's a better headcanon type thing than if they had started, like, name dropping more Easter eggs. And it also, I think, strengthens each of the Peters in different ways. Like, having Tom Holland be a leader because he's been in the Avengers is such a strength of MCU Peter Parker, and I think that they really did a good job of adding closing moments for all these characters. To Nick's point about Aunt May, like, this is the most fleshed out Aunt May we've ever had, easily. And she had not just a character in this movie, but, like, a purpose to the main plot itself. And, like, the great power, great responsibility isn't just, like, a nice thing someone's saying when they're dying that kind of, like, motivates you to be a better person. It's, like, the core central thing to the plot of this movie. Tom Holland trying to rehab some of the worst villains we've ever seen, right? And I think that they did a good job balancing all of that stuff. Like, that is what I'm most impressed with. I think some of the villains, like, the worst parts of this movie are how overthinky I get about this stuff, where I'm like, that's not how Osborn ever acted. Like, it's not how this, that's not that. That's not this movie's fault. This movie did the damn best thing it can. I think that it made a very bold choice to just be like, we're going to tell a really good story, and commit to that. And it allows moments like, I think 3 of us have already brought up in the spoiler conversation, Garfield saving Michelle and having that look of him crying. I don't think it can be understated how powerful of a moment that is, how burned of a moment that was. That's to me the perfect example of where this movie is fan service with plot. Because it was earned, they set it up with his character earlier and in the movies before that we had all just rewatched for the time. But I am so impressed with how they made the trio organic, the conversations, hitting the fan service moments didn't feel like we're watching characters kind of just act like memes. It felt like they were acting like the characters we knew, and they wouldn't be freaked out by Tobey Maguire's organic stuff. And that could have been written in a way that was, like, cringy and bad, and it wasn't. It felt authentic to me. I love this movie's focus on science and math. I think the Doctor Strange fight is not going to be talked about enough because there's so much dope shit in this movie. But the last thing I want to say, because I know we're going along with the spoiler bit here, but the pacing of this movie, we've all alluded to it in different ways. It's just impeccable. We're just there for the whole ride. It does not feel as long as it is. I saw the movie once. The second time, I allowed myself to go to the bathroom, and it wasn't a good moment to go to the bathroom. Like, I knew what was coming, and I'm like, I don't even want to miss this line of dialogue. I love that my favorite parts of this movie are not the action scenes, it's the talking. Because there's a lot of talking, and it's really, really, really satisfying talking. So, shout out to all of you for this stuff.
I also just want to, I mean, like, one of the biggest achievements of this movie is not only that it managed to take what could have been a gigantic mess and I think make sense of it in a very satisfying way, but also like MCU is just so good at this, and Kevin Feige and the team are so incredible at this that this is all leading into future stuff too. Like this isn't just some random kind of multiverse plot beat. Like it's all tying into everything else, and to have it make sense in a way that feels satisfying is just kind of wild to me. That it's like Tim, when you mentioned like, hey, it's not their fault. The other movies had a lot of problems with their writing, with their character development, and part of me goes, well then just don't make a multiverse movie. But then like, but they did it anyway, and it's fucking great. Oh, and also it's leading into, I mean, the post-credit scene, Multiverse of Madness, getting a trailer there and getting a lot of scenes from Multiverse of Madness. Kevin?
Sorry, like, now you bring up, you can keep going, I'll talk about that.
Oh, okay. And then, no, I mean, I was just mentioning, like, how incredible it is that, like, to do this really difficult multiverse movie, to tie up a lot of loose ends, to bring in a lot of messes from earlier past movies, and having it feel good here because the team at Marvel just know what the hell they're doing is just such an achievement for me.
Yeah, let's contrast that, right? Like, you have two... Go ahead, again.
Wait, real quick, just the post-credit.
Turn this way!
Like, the only thing that I didn't like about the movie was the post-credit scene. Obviously, like the mid-credit scene, get all of the symbiote back to where it fucking belongs. We don't want it in this universe. We don't need it. Alright? The second one, I don't like that it was a trailer. It was cool to watch for the first time on a big screen, but like I try to stay away from trailers as much as possible. And I kind of felt like we were robbed of a little fun moment, especially with the tone of the end of the movie being so serious. I was hoping we'd get like Hannibal Buress on a QAnon-like website, you know, talking shit about Spider-Man. I thought like something like that is such a fun thing that they always put. And it was kind of a bummer to see a trailer that I probably have to watch for work at some point, you know, instead.
I thought we were going to a little tease of like something to come, like a little glimmer of hope later.
See, that had been my hope. First off, I don't mind the trailer, but I can get that later. In terms of like what I thought, if you would have asked me during the movie and then like after mid credits, what I thought the end credits was going to be, I was thinking that we would get Garfield going back to his universe and bumping into his hero. And I always forget it that she was cast. She's the woman from the HBO show I like. I don't know her name. She was Ziggy's mom on the Detective show. We're not a name anymore. It's the show I'm thinking of.
Big Little Lies?
Yeah, thank you. Right? I wanted them to bump in and like him, open his heart up kind of thing. I thought that's what would have happened. Doesn't matter.
Excuse me.
And then, when the roof started opening, I know I told all you guys, like when the purple roof started opening, people started coming through. I was hopeful that we were gonna get one more crazy thing. I was hoping it was gonna be Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen. I was hoping she'd drop down and do something. I know it's not what I want. Anyway, the trailer at the end I liked because I felt like this was such a big event movie. So much crazy shit's happening. And again, you get to the end of it, and I think there are so many questions about what the multiverse is, what the fuck just happened, what's going on. And I think obviously Marvel probably had a deal with Sony to get this at the end of it, because if you're not on Disney Plus, you're not watching those shows, you're not aware of what's going on with Wanda, you're not aware of Loki, you're not aware of all this shit. Like, you put that in there, you for a lot of people, this is their first experience for a multiverse in anything going on.
What was the first thing they showed in the rip and tear of the universe? The second one was Rhino. What was the first one?
The first one was Rhino, Scorpion, and then I didn't see who the third, and there might have been a fourth person.
No, they showed me before that though. I know what you mean.
Oh, the big
the big with the staff or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I saw a staff. That would be really cool.
I saw the staff.
If there was a staff, you would imagine.
You guys popped. I was like, what?
There was a lot, yeah, me too, Greg. A lot of people in the theater went like, ooh, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And the second one I saw Rhino in there, and so I was confused with the first thing.
Live chat saying it was Scorpion, Rhino, Kraven, and Black Cat.
Right, so that was so there were three, because then we see Rhino even clearer after.
Yeah.
But the first guy definitely had, one of the giant guys from space. side.
Oh, with Celestial? Oh, they said that was Craven. They're saying that was Craven.
Oh, that was Craven.
No, he definitely, like, he didn't have human proportions. Like, his torso was way too small, and he was also massive when compared to the other ones that we've seen.
We'll have to stay tuned tonight to find out. I want to speak of the post-credits real quick. I absolutely love both of them. I think the Venom one is best case scenario, where after Let There Be Carnage, we were so bummed that they were doing this. I'm so happy he wasn't in this movie. It would have overcrowded it, and I think that would have caused problems. Them playing it as a joke, and then him fighting clearly the last one on the ship, this is not going to happen. I think it's great. The symbiote that gives it a origin story that we don't need to really deal with. It's fine. It came from another universe. That's all they need to get into. I'd even be fine if eventually Eddie Brock is in the MCU and it is Tom Hardy, just a variant, not the version we saw there. I'm really excited about the potential of what this could be, especially with where we leave off with Tom Holland. It's the darkest place he's ever been. He is all alone, and it is not a tech suit. It is just a classic Spidey suit. Adding that with the symbiote, that to me has a lot of potential that I'm really excited for. And the Doctor Strange trailer, I absolutely loved. I cannot believe we got as much as we did. I would much prefer this over just getting one little scene, because we essentially got that. The scene of him walking up to Wanda at the little farmhouse looking thing, like, that could have just been the post-credit scene. But I'm happy we got so much more around it, so much more hype. Seeing the Strange from What If at the end of it, it's like there is so much to there to think about. And the Doctor Strange will return. It's so epic. I'm not going to be surprised if they release this trailer in a couple weeks, but I also think that there's a chance that the trailer we get is going to be very different than this. If this is a post-credit exclusive trailer, which I think is really cool. And this isn't the first time they've done it. It's just rare. They did this for Avengers, leading into from Captain America: First Avenger. It was a trailer for Avengers, and then Eddie here talked about Ant-Man ended with a scene from Civil War.
Look where he breaks Civil War.
Yeah. But I loved it. I thought it was hype, and especially after ending this movie with a follow-up of next time, and then you hear the VO of Cumberbatch being like, the multiverse is something frightening little about, like, all that stuff. Like, this is fucking hype as hell. I just can't believe you have to wait like 7 months for it now.
But I'm with Kevin on this one, though. I feel like I want to look at to get into that. But before we get to the plot, the one thing I wanted to just point out was that in Spider-Man 3, we had 2 villains and 3 villains, I guess, and 1 Spider-Man. And it just fundamentally was horrible to watch the end. In this movie, we have 3 Spider-Man and 5 villains and 2 friends that are involved in the end.
5 villains and the looming threat of Mysterio. And Doctor Strange.
And it all just works. I think it's because they sat down and they really tried, and that they make you care about each one of these villains, not because they have to beat them, because you're rooting for the hero to cure the villain. What a unique and weird and fun way to go about this. Like, you're not worried so much. I mean, you're worried for the safety of the Spider-Mans, but you're also like, hey, like Norman Osborn, we've seen him. He's actually hurting. He's like, he needs help. And despite the fact that he knows that it works, it's so well done. And like, just kudos to the team that put this together, because that is a very, very, very difficult juggling act, and it worked. It worked.
And with that, right before we get to ads, I just want to say, being a Spider-Man fan my entire life, to the level that I am, like, one of the most core things to some of the best Spider-Man storylines is all the stuff we talk about it being equal to Peter and Spider-Man and friends and all this stuff. But in terms of his supporting cast of superheroes, Doctor Strange and Daredevil are 2 of the key ones that are involved in some of the storylines. And to get everything you just said, plus them in any way involved in this, like, of course, if he needs a lawyer, it's gonna be Matt Murdock. I just love that we're at a point as a universe and as Hollywood movies are being made that, like, when we are asked a question like, who should be this person in our fan minds, the answer is probably gonna happen, because they know what they're doing and they build this shit out right to, like, allow that to be the case, that when we get a fight between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, we believe in it. We understand where the stakes are at, and it's not a fight to the death, it's a fight to outsmart, and we've seen both of them as heroes in their own movies with fight scenes that are tailored for them to win. So I think they really did something special with this. But before we get to the plot, let me tell you how it's going. This episode is brought to you by Dean. Of course, anybody that listens to this show knows that I am and you will rarely see me not wearing multiple articles of MeUndies clothing at any given time. Even right now, I got the shirt, I got the lounge pants, I got the undies, and I got the socks. Because I love covering myself in that soft, microflowable fabric. You can get your festive on with the new MeUndies holiday collection, featuring classic plaids you know and love, and sweater-inspired prints that will quickly become favorites. Their undies, loungewear, and sleepwear are made out of soft, breathable, stretchy fabrics that are ideal for sitting fireside with loved ones and a cup of hot cocoa. You can get the family photo you've always dreamed of with matching PJ sets. They're available in sizes extra small through 4XL, and MeUndies has a little something for everyone on the list. MeUndies has a great offer for you first-time purchasers. You can get 15% off and free shipping. Your days of fighting for your life in the mall parking lot are over. To get 15% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/morning. That's MeUndies.com/morning. Next up, shout out to Trade Coffee. Whether you're a coffee nerd or a coffee newbie, you need to hear about Trade Coffee. They want to make every cup of coffee your best ever. Trade matches you to a selection of their over 400 craft coffees, all based on how you answer the coffee quiz. They consider whether you like French press, auto brew, or even cold brew, and pair you with the perfect choice. And if you don't love it, they'll replace it with a different bag for free. Trade Coffee's awesome. It's really fun to do the quiz, and just kind of learn a little bit more about the wild world of coffee that's out there. For you guys right now, Trade is offering your first bag free and $5 off your bundle at checkout. To get yours, go to drinktrade.com/kindafunny and use promo code kindafunny. Take the quiz to start your journey to the perfect cup. That's DRINKTRADE.com/kindafunny. Promo code kindafunny for your first bag free and $5 off your bundle. And this holiday season, give the coffee lover in your life the gift of better coffee too. Again, that's drinktrade.com/kindafunny. Promo code kindafunny. Next up, shout out to Audible. This episode is sponsored by Audible, and I bet you have discerning taste and you're always looking for something new to listen to. Well, you should check out Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary on Audible. It's an interstellar, science-based thriller from the best-selling author of The Martian that's skillfully performed by Ray Porter, who brings the already gripping tale to life with vibrant and witty narration. In it, a lone astronaut must save the Earth from disaster in an epic tale of discovery, speculation, and survival. It's part scientific history, part intergalactic journey, and all edge-of-your-seat entertainment. This Audible Studios production of Project Hail Mary is a #1 New York Times audio bestseller and continues to top Audible's bestseller charts and garner rave listener reviews. You don't want to miss this. Listeners are already calling it the highest order of geekgasm metal. Go to audible.com/Project Hail Mary and listen now. That's AUDIBLE.com/Project Hail Mary. Finally, shout out to HBO Max. 'Tis the season to discover exclusive original, addictive series and award-winning performances. And you can get into the holiday spirit with Max originals like 8-Bit Christmas, a stop-motion animation extravaganza, or if classics are more your speed, they have you covered there too with Elf, Miracle on 34th Street, The Polar Express, Gremlins. Of course, that's a Christmas movie. And if you haven't seen it in a while, it's hilarious, so go check it out. Who could have forgot everyone's favorite, A Christmas Story? HBO Max is the streaming home of over 13,000 hours of addictive series, blockbuster movies, and exclusive originals. Turn binge-worthy watching new favorites into your next holiday tradition. You guys, I've been loving HBO Max. I've been loving it a lot. There's so much fun stuff to watch, whether it's reality shows like F-Boy Island or the upcoming Matrix Revolutions. Get hyped. I can't wait to see it. Visit hbo.ax/KFDEC to start streaming on your favorite devices today. That's hbo.ax/KFDEC to start streaming on your favorite devices today. It's kind of funny December. KFDEC. Check it out. Plot, 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 plot.
Everybody, welcome to Spider-Man No Way Home. We start right where we left off, ladies and gentlemen. Far From Home ended, of course, with the news report kicking over to the one and the only J. Jonah Jameson, announcing to the world that Peter Parker was in fact Spider-Man. We pick up there as your logos and credits roll with the narration of the Fox News guy leading into, of course, JJ's reveal, and then there it is. What the fuck? But it's bleeped by a little horn or whatever. And pandemonium on the streets of New York, of course, as there's a giant group of people already on the street who just saw Spider-Man put down MJ. They immediately are right into it. They're just, oh my god, freaking out. Peter looks down to MJ. They're starting to surround her, asking if she's knows him if she's his girlfriend. He just came down, blah, 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 blah. He jumps down there. He grabs her. Let's get out of here. He has to push a lady away, and the lady immediately is like, Spider-Man, push me. You saw it. He hit me. Yeah, exactly, right?
The guy jumps up and grabs his leg.
Yeah, he flails off, right?
This whole sequence, I think, was presented so tonally different than the way it was presented in any of the marketing material. It was way more fun and silly, and I did not expect the intro of this movie to have such a lighthearted tone, even despite like what the actual danger, not really danger, but just like the fact that everybody knows and everything's a murder, and that you killed a lot of people, and it was like a fun romp, and I just was not expecting that whatsoever, and yet it still works because they just kind of know what to do and how to get the exact sort of percentage of funny to like, you know, what the threat is, what the tension is, you know.
With that, I think it's a testament to the quality of the writing of these characters for the last 3 movies, so that when we get Zendaya, Jacob, and Tom together, or even just on a cell phone together, and the dialogue on script is literally dude, we know that means so much more than just saying the same word 5 times. You know what I mean? Like, these people are friends, and we know their history, and we understand that each dude means something different.
Dude, indeed. They swing up, they get to the top of the bridge. Well, first off, of course, the MJ's freaking out the entire time because, of course, we introduced web slinging with a partner at the end of Far From Home. She hated it, right? So
her jumping off, like when they the second time they swing, and she's like, hey, let's go, and they jump off the bridge. The look of fear on her face, it's like, that's acting, man. Like, she nailed that.
It's such a great thing because, like, for me personally, as a dumb kid watching Superman over and over with Richard Donner, right? Like, at no point in time did I ever think of when Superman and Lois are flying, and Superman literally is, they're holding hands, like, going like this, that she would just be dangled. If you're a kid, you're not thinking, like, you're back to the damn sure it's a superhero movie, nobody's paying attention. And I remember when that was revealed to me, like, Wizard Magazine or whatever, I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. It's so fucked up that, too, all the Spider-Man movies I've ever seen, all the Spider-Man comics I've ever read, I never thought of it as a fucking terrifying, horrifying experience that would be for a normal human being. You know, we are so used to fucking MJ hugging a mannequin in Spider-Man 1 and they stiffly swing. You're like, oh yeah, it would be great.
Skydiving, yeah.
It was so fucking awesome that they acknowledged that in the last movie, and then they continued it on here, right, as they go through it. Yeah, again, we get the dude call with Ned, we get everybody freaking out, people, you know, the helicopters watching them, they jump down, they go into the subway, almost get hit by a train, another terrifying thing, of course, Peter with control. Get him over there,
Let's see that in live action. It's just, like,
coming out right up
maneuvering down there. Because, like, we've seen that in one of the games, right, where you're fighting Hulk.
It's Blizzard in the Neversoft game,
Soccer, too,
Sam
right?
down. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it's just wild. I loved it.
It was awesome. It was amazing. Eventually, of course, they, you know, use the subway tunnels to get back to the house, Peter's house, or apartment. As they come, or they come in. Well, we get a thing of Happy crying at the front door because Pan's breaking off the summer fling with him. It's over, you know, get out of here, kind of thing. He's like, he can go longer. He's, you know, negotiating, talking in the game here with Nate. Of course, then they hear MJ and Peter in the room. They go in, they open the door, it looks like they're getting ready to get down and have sex. In fact, it's, you know, just the pandemonium of the situation right there. May makes a comment about safe sex, it's real funny and stuff. And then Peter runs around the house, you know, webbing windows, closing things, trying to, you know, talk to them, to break the news to him, or to them about what's going on. And divert a bit, right? But of course, yeah, sorry, Andy.
Were they born in labs? Now it's time to rank those abs.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rank Those Abs podcast. The podcast here brought to you by our sponsors. I'm your host, Nick Scarpino, alongside Andy Cortez. Andy, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, especially after seeing the bulk and the glow up of an already muscly and tight Tom Holland. This dude got bigger, and his body is fucking chiseled. Holy shit.
Now, Andy, of course, we have to ask the question on everyone's lips right now. What's better, Tom Holland's abs or the terrible wig that Benedict Cumberbatch was wearing the entire movie?
God.
What the fuck?
Hit the song, Andy.
Okay, hold on, I have this on actually right here.
Is it a win? I don't know. Winning out with Scarpino.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. We're now with Scarpino. I'm your host, Nick Scarpino, alongside my co-host, Andy Cortez. Andy, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, Nick. Thank you for asking. Also, I thought we would reference this when we see Ben.
I'm sorry, I had to throw it out there because that was the problem. Was it was bad in this, and then it was somehow even worse in the trailer for the new one, the Fuller House of Madness. Dude, they got millions. Dude, just dye his hair, bro. Like, what are we doing? Why do we have this Eddie Munster Dracula wig on?
It was particularly terrible at first introduction. It might have been like later on. It must have been a reshoot or something. Because later on, he got the loose hair. I guess I actually have like the loose hair hanging. I was like, that looks good. Like, you know what I mean? Now it looks natural. Now it looks
as bad as the wig. Like when they cut back and forth for the reshoots for Justice League, or it was like Ben Affleck's like 20 pounds lighter and it clearly has a wig, and you're like, oh my god, this is terrible.
Jacob Batalon's wig's still pretty damn good.
Yeah, hey, Born in Labs, now it's time to rank those out. So I just want to give a shout out to Jacob Batalon for losing a staggering 102 pounds for this role. So, yeah.
I forget, because I remember he lost the weight, but there's some shots where he's still, is he still big, or did they put him in a thing to make him still look big? Where were we at?
I think the reporting was like looking at him in interviews now, he's significantly.
Oh my god, in interviews, that's the thing, yeah. So that was my thing of like, I was like watching this, I'm like, he's already lost weight in the film, but I know he's lighter than.
Anyway, yeah, Tom Holland is super buff, and I know he put on a lot of bulk for Uncharted because he didn't want to look like a child next to Mark Wahlberg. So he was already chiseled and cut because he's just an athlete and a gymnast and shit, and he somehow found a way to get bulkier and keep that cut sort of look, and he looks incredible.
I loved the joke though about MJ picking up the beard dye.
Oh yeah.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Which also, like, now that we're talking about his beard, like, holy shit, his beard in the trailer, not the Strange Supreme one, but like him at the start of it, it's just like it looks like he dyed it jet black, and then someone like was like, let's lower the saturate. Yeah, God, it's wild.
It looks like literally someone took a grease pen and just painted it on him.
Yeah, it looks like it's very.
I can't wait to that. Like the wig, didn't notice it once.
Yeah, I didn't notice the wig either. That's funny.
I'm not even like Nick. I have a great hairline, so I rarely look at other people's hairline. It's not like one of my hang-ups. But like when it popped up, I was like, what the fuck? Because it looks like they painted in like the widow's peak. You know what I mean? Like it was nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, that was it. Thank you for
thank you for listening to rank those apps. I like the podcast. I'm your host, Nick Scarpino. Andy, would you like to say goodbye?
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
I like how we went like 3 layers in, and Tim was still trying to Tim was making a point about layer 3, and Andy was like, nope, and pulled it all the way back up to abs. We're like, all right, well, we're getting out of this shit now.
Just like Inception, the kick.
Yeah, exactly, right? That song starts playing. So we live in the apartment, and yeah, eventually, Peter's trying to talk about Happy and her breaking up to then, I guess, either distract them or get them into it, but the TV behind them, of course, is broadcasting their actual apartment, and MJ's like, Peter, and he's like, oh shit, like, is that our place? Yeah, and he goes over and opens the window, and yeah, the world knows that I'm Spider-Man kind of thing. And so, from there, Damage shows up, right? Department of Damage Control. Damage shows up, and who are they led by? Secession Stewie. We all know Stewie over there trying to get all that Royco money, and here he is. You know what I mean? But this time he works for Damage. Yeah, it's
fun little story here. I don't know if you remember, but in 2017, after the Department of Damage Control was first shown in Homecoming, they optioned a TV show based on Damage Control. This was before the Disney Plus situation was all fully figured out. Didn't even exist at that point. So this would have been not in the Netflix series of things, but it would have been more similar to the ABC Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. type stuff. But this guy was cast in that.
Oh, man, he must have been like, I fucking missed out, and then Secession just fucking dominates, and he's like, ding, ding. That's the piano opening. Great show if you're not watching HBO. Speaking of HBO Max, you know what I'm saying over here? Huh? A little sponsorship, but I'd say it even if it was. You know what I mean? Fuck off! What a great show.
Anyway, cool. We're not sponsored by them.
We are.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, today we are sponsored by HBO Max.
Never mind then. Thank you.
Your punishment. Wait, hold on. Kevin Coelho, your punishment is to go watch the first season of Succession again, all right? And there's no punishment at all. Just like all the great content you'll find on HBO Max. Did you guys know I'm watching all of The Sopranos for the first time?
I
HBO
started
Max.
that too.
Good eating. Yeah, Nick Scarpion.
Greg, as a person who's never watched an episode of Succession all the way through and never seen the intro, is the intro by your description?
Wait, real quick, I'm sorry, you've never watched an episode?
I've only ever watched, because my wife watches it all the time, so I come in and I show like scenes of it.
Yeah.
And I saw at one point Brian Cox fainted on a beach in the Hamptons, and I was like, that's enough for a show. But by your admission,
Stewie came in at the end of that episode. Yeah, go ahead.
Is the intro for Succession the exact same piano lick as Mr. Belvedere?
No, this one's way more dope. This one's way more intense.
Does
This is an intro so good, I never skip it. You know what I mean?
Does it have sleigh bells in it?
Does it have sleigh bells in it, Greg?
No, it does not. It does not.
It does.
Well, let the piano do all the work. It does?
No, it has a sleigh bell.
It's just
It goes
oh, no.
ching.
Tim, we're gonna be here forever. Tim.
It's so good. Like, and that's that noise. That's a sleigh bell. I know. I was listening to an NPR thing about the composer that just died recently.
Mozart.
Mozart.
No, Nick, you actually know the answer to this. Come on.
Hans Christian Andersen.
No.
I don't know.
DJ XL Shoki.
Do with an S. Anyway, one of the things he did was
Do with an S?
S his name. I'll try to sort it out, but like.
Wait, why are you so excited about sleigh bells?
Because it just sounds so cool. I feel like that's one of the aspects of the intro that like it's hard to pick up on, but once you know, you're like, oh shit, that's a sleigh bell. Also, it's Christmas.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Absolute Christmas spirit.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, next season I'm gonna be watching, alright, when I figure out what's going on. You know, I almost spoiled it right there, what happened at the end of the season. You gotta watch this session, everybody. On HBO Max. What a sponsor. Damage Counter shows up.
Tastes great. HBO Max.
They didn't pay for any of that.
Throws them all in the clink, right? Go directly to jail. Don't pass go. They all get locked in different rooms, right? And so it's the stuff from the trailer you've seen with Peter, right? Where he's like trying to explain, like, no, I didn't kill Mysterio, and it's like, you know, the drones did. The drones that were under your control. And they let the friends go. They have nothing to do with it, right? And then we jump over to MJ's interrogation room where MJ, of course, a very wise woman's like, I'm not telling you anything. I want a lawyer. I know all my rights. I know all the stuff. Playing that stuff back and forth with it there. And then they jump to Ned's room, and of course Ned knows none of this and just immediately starts saying all this stuff, right? It's like, no, I was this guy in the chair, and I helped him beat the vulture. So you're saying you're a long-time accomplice of the wanted criminal Spider-Man. He's like, you know what, I would like a lawyer.
And this actor y'all were just mentioning, Stewie, I have no reference to who this person is.
Andy, did you know that if you were to get the great streaming platform HBO Max, you could watch all 3 seasons of Succession right now, commercial free?
I tried watching episodes 1, 2, 3, and I was like, this doesn't work for me. I'm gonna give it another shot. Anyway, so this guy, I don't know who they are, so obviously when you see them, you're like, oh great, this person's on screen. But for me, I'm like, this could easily just like be really shitty, and it wasn't. So good job, Stewie guy.
Good job, Stewie.
You were on screen. I was like, you know what? I dig this dude's characterization of whatever he's doing. It could have easily been fucking Blade Hand or Razor Fist from fucking from Shang-Chi. What a terrible character.
That was a bad guy.
Yo, real quick, I just want to give a major shout out that I keep forgetting to bring up. I was watching a behind-the-scenes making-up thing for Shang-Chi, Nick, and Greg, you might remember this as well. Remember when we did Ultimate Fan Fights at IGN?
Yeah.
And remember the director of that, like the guy, Young Lee?
Yes.
His name, Back Attack? He is the lead fight choreographer for Shang-Chi.
Oh, that's badass.
What the actual shit, man.
Really cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Because like they had really good fights.
Insane shit, man. Yeah, blew my mind. Anyways, back to this.
Jameson S in the live chat, I need you to get me Stewie's Twitter handle, and with the actor, obviously, and we're going to say he's Andy Cortez approved. That'll be a big moment for him, all right? So then Marissa Tomei's there, and she's like, you can't hold us forever, you got to let us go, right? If you don't have any charges, and that's when Stewie drops it, like, oh, what about child endangerment? Like, you knew you're the child, you were sworn to protect us out there punching aliens, like, that seems like a big problem, right? You should get, I mean, she's like, oh, yeah. And it's great, because you see, like, oh, man, there are a lot of, I mean, outside of just the Sokovia Accords, right, there is a lot of shit happening here that would be bad for everybody. Like, man, they got these guys dead to rights. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out at this point in the movie because it's it's weird for us because we have not only seen every Spider-Man movie and every MCU movie and talked about them for hours and hours and hours, so we have an expectation of like how MCU movies function and work and like just the format of them all, right? I think this movie really does a good job of, for as packed as it is with characters and plot and multiverse and insanity, of trying to function if you've never seen a single movie before in these worlds and you just watched this. Things like building the relationship with these lines of dialogue with Aunt May and Peter of like, you're like his mother and blah blah blah, and like things like that. And they do it for all the villains too. It's especially watching it twice. I'm really impressed with how standalone this movie is for how I would have never thought I'd give it that compliment going into it.
Real quick, Avery has never seen. I don't think she's seen any of the Spider-Man movies beforehand.
Great, that'll be a test tonight.
I'm very interested to see how that goes. I think it is set up in a way to help with that structure. Also, in the chat, somebody said it's Steven Sondheim. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, Steven Sondheim.
Yeah,
That's
that
not.
sucks.
Greg, I want to
That's Mozart.
Yeah, that's Mozart.
Okay, so and then thank you, Kevin, you and Z-Pole6 Gaming got me Arian's Twitter here. So I'm saying good news, Arian Moyed, or probably Moyed. Your hashtag Spider-Man performance. Well, I put the wrong your hashtag Spider-Man performance is at the Andy Cortez approved. We're trying to get him to watch the session. Heart hashtag in review. All right, so that's going out right now.
So
There
many
you go.
things in there that don't need to be there.
I followed him. Let me see. Is he active on here? Is he active?
Everyone, I want to let you know I miss Greg. I truly, more than anything, miss Greg Miller. But I questioned that when last night, this movie is about to start. The credits have finished. We just watched the Dolby Atmos, yes, the projector's still on thing, or Dolby Vision. Okay. Then we get to see freaking Nicole Kidman do whatever the fuck it is Nicole Kidman's doing. It's creepy as shit. And I just hear Greg Miller say something to Andy and then just start fucking wheezing. And Gia looks at me and she goes like, what did he do? And I literally was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking
What did I do?
It's so
Well, Greg leaned over to me and said, he goes, wow, they've been making these movies for 100 years. You believe that? Or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it was. The AMC thing, then God, they showed me so many fucking. I'm already in. I already bought the damn ticket, and I understand you're the fucking AMC movie theater. Then they're like, 100 years of celebrating. The 100 comes up, and I'm sitting there going, movies that you've been around 100 years, brother. And then it comes up like 1921 was 100 years ago. Fucking shit. And I lean over to Andy, I'm like, can you believe Bush evictions are going on 100 years? Because you know how it is. We all think it's like 2000, right? And it's kind of, in your head, it's like professionally maybe 2010. And so like you sit there like they weren't doing talkies and silent pictures back then. Fuck it, 100 years ago. These motherfuckers.
They sure were.
We went to sit down yesterday in the movie theater, and Andy, like, we all got seats, and Andy very dramatically was like, I'm saving this one. Miller asked me to hold a seat for him, and I looked at him, and I was just like, like, I didn't say...
Is that what you want?
Like, no, yeah, it was just one of those things, like, you know why he wants to sit next to you. Yeah?
I will say I was upset I didn't get to sit next to Greg. I sat next to Greg during Spider-Man Homecoming, and it was a very, very special experience for me.
He's stone-faced like this.
We should, it's something we gotta talk about ahead of time. You know what I mean? I knew that I had to pee. I knew the line was, we haven't even talked about this yet. All right, we're not at the Metreon, right? A 3:30 p.m. showing of Spider-Man, the first one, right? We get there, we come up the escalator, we get there. The line is outrageous, and I'm like, oh, this is the concession line. Fuck, I would forego the popcorn. No, this was the ticket-taking line. We got in this giant fucking line, and it was that thing where it's like, we got in at 3:10, the movie starts at 3:30. And everybody's checking their watches over because it's just not moving. Kevin, of course, being Kevin, goes to the front of the line just to find out, like, are you going to hold the movie because you guys can't figure out how to take tickets? Ridiculous. Eventually, they opened up a second line, but it took forever. It was terrifying. So that's when I was already high alert. I had to pee. All I wanted was a fucking water out of the concessions. I was dying of thirst. You know what I mean? I had to get. I asked Blessing and Gia to get me one. They both got me waters because they're great friends. You know what I mean? And then I was just panicking. And so yeah, I saw Andy there in his awesome jean jacket, and I was like, Andy, save me a seat. Nobody else wants to even talk to me. You know what I mean? Everybody's mad. I've been gone for 3 months. I got all this energy pent up.
The first person I talked to, I was like, oh, great, sure, I'll talk to you. But did you guys notice also the projector was off, like its access? Yeah, I noticed the shit out of me to the point where during the previews I was like, and I looked at Barrett, and Barrett was like, I'll be right back. And I went to
Did you really?
I went to guest services and I said, your projector's off. You need to have your projectionist take a look at it because it's got ghosting on the top and the.
It got fixed. It got fixed during it.
It did not.
Towards the end. Yeah, towards the end, it finally fucking evened out. We're getting way into the goddamn weeds on this, but thank you for your service.
I was like, this is gonna bug the hell out of me the whole time.
Wow, and I'm glad we're talking about this, because we're at the Dolby, which the blacks are so black and the thing is on, and Nick noticed that the camera was off tilt. I didn't see that because I'm more of an audiophile, but me and Andy both noticed it was too loud. Why are they playing this movie so loud? Can we just enjoy ourselves here? You know what I mean? I'm trying to have a nice night out. I gotta fucking screaming.
You know what? While we're on this point, my chair didn't recline.
Wait, really? Wait, hold on. Now that we've gotten to this point, my chair didn't recline. And did you know what me and Anthony Carboni did?
He laid on his lap.
Because he was like, this is weird. Like, it's not reclining. I was like, I bet you it's unplugged. So what we did is I put a huge my phone out, turned the flashlight on, we looked behind the seat, and sure enough, it was unplugged. What had happened is that the wire at some point got stuck between the mechanism and the chair. So what we had to do is lift up the chair while Anthony put all his weight on to grab the cable to pull it out of where it was stepped on. Pulled it out, we plugged it in, we were comfortable the entire time.
Damn, I was sitting up like an old man, just sitting up on my porch watching kids play on my grass, just angry at it. Although I swear to God, I thought it was a 4D experience because my seat shook like crazy during some of the subwoofer parts.
It's the best. I love it. Continue, Greg.
Oh.
Yeah, we still talking about this movie? Jesus.
So okay, so then it's all these horrible things we're gonna do, right? And so then it's like, okay, cool. Then they go home, and this is where they're talking around the kitchen table about it, right? And this is where Matt Murdock's introduced, and he's there, and it's like everybody's Matt fucking Murdock, and he's like, don't worry about it, and like this is what's happening, and he's like. And then he gets off the phone, I guess, and he comes like, good news, they're dropping the charges against you, Peter, you know what I mean, they can't prove you killed Mysterio.
I was so stunned by all of this that I blinked and suddenly they weren't in trouble with the law anymore, and I was so confused by it. Like, they're suddenly back in school, and I was like, oh, so like they're totally good. Is that what Matt Murdock was talking about? Cause fuck, I was just so surprised to even see him on screen.
I've never seen Andy, like, when Matt Murdock first came out, it was about 3 seconds later when it hit him what was happening. He looked at me, and I swear to God, he went like this. Like, just the most shock, like, he just did not see this coming.
Well, Greg didn't make a reaction. I didn't know that this shit leaked apparently 2 months ago, so I was like, expecting Greg to, and I was like, did you know about this? And I was like, well, I guess not. And that's when I decided to look at Tim and be like, this is crazy. What the fuck?
This is the first time where the auditorium, like, audibly pops. Like, people cheer.
And by the way,
and, like,
it was like, it's the way it was shot, too. Where you see them all on the couch, and you see his hand with the stick come in first. And I was like, no effing way. And then he sits down, and you're like, good for you. Good for them.
They're so good at this, man. It's so
and I love the line too, where he's like, "How did you catch that phrase?" Like, I'm a really good lawyer.
Yeah, I was thinking, I love that when it comes to. But yeah, because he sits there and he tells, all right, good, you're fine, Peter, everything's great for you. Happy, you fucked up a lot of shit though. They are gonna come looking into you. You need a really good lawyer. And blah blah. They talk a little bit longer. And brick through the window.
It's one of those things where I love the fanfare of this, but it makes no sense. Happy is still doesn't he still work for Stark? Is Stark Industries a multi-trillion-dollar company? Don't they have lawyers? Wouldn't you just go over to call Pepper and be like, I need it?
Well, he's not his lawyer. He's just there, and that's when he's like, they're not dropping the charges against you. You got to look into your thing.
And it's
I just
also
thought a quick call to Pepper would have been like, let's get this situated out.
Well, he also stole Stark Tech, which I thought was a weird.
I don't think he stole Stark Tech. I think that Tony left it, and it's
at his house.
Yeah, because
I took it as it's a missing thing, right? He's because when Peter walks in and goes, oh, Happy, I didn't take it as like, oh, Happy, you're stealing. It's like, oh, Happy, you idiot. This is what they're talking about. This is the missing thing that they're
Harold.
Yeah.
We finally got his name said, Harold.
The room that we'll later see it in is totally like an unfinished room that like equivalent to a basement. Like condos don't usually have them, so it's weird. But like I definitely don't think that's something he did on purpose. I think that all of that is. I'm sure it's cleared up by the point we see him later, because like it doesn't seem like he's.
Yeah, he's not worried about it, right? That's the thing.
Well, that was the thing that didn't the jet blow up, but that was in the prior movie.
In the jet. No,
I think there's multiple.
I'm saying,
multiple.
yeah, I'm sure that like Tony gave him that place.
Oh, I thought my read on it was like
Tony's place.
that it was like left over from the jet explosion. He had it shipped to his place or something like that. Because it looked like it was all dirty and shit too, but I could be wrong. That must have been that could have been the construction of the room too.
Yeah, it was just dirty. And that's it, Matt Murdock. Great, thank you. You're back, MCU. That's fantastic. And so then it's the window gets smashed there, and that's when Peter's like, it isn't safe to be here. Like, we can't, or maybe May says that, I forget, but they're like, we can't be here. Happy invites them over to his place. We get the introduction of his amazing electronic locks and all his little security systems and whatever. They come in, they get set up there. And then the arm that we love, the dunce arm from Iron Man is living with Happy, and that's great. Yeah, love that.
Do we think that's Happy's like permanent place of living?
Residence? I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. I did think that.
Because he called it the Oasis or something. I thought it was like a little getaway that they used.
Oh, I think it's just how you introduce your place. He introduces his place to people who are staying with him.
It's like when Greg calls his place the fuck pad.
Yeah, I do call it that.
Jesus Christ.
Every night I'm like, Nick, you coming to make a theme night? You're clear for landing at the fucking pad, Nick. Come on in.
I hate everything.
I'm sorry.
Everything about that interaction. Absolutely.
Yeah. I got nothing.
How was that inappropriate? We're having a great time here.
That was like a blowy moment, you know?
Oh, then nothing will be
Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't be like, I'm embarrassed, so now let me try to remind Andy about an embarrassing moment.
I gotta drag Andy into this to share.
I'll tell you what, Nick, don't worry, it's not going to go where you think it's going to go, alright? I'm a professional. Nick had one of the funniest asides in our, I don't know, 15 years of being acquaintances and knowing of each other, right? He had one of the funniest fucking asides. And then everybody at the table wanted him to repeat it. He's like, I will not repeat that. First thing I did when I got home was tell Jen that story. I was like, oh, you gotta hear this. You gotta hear this shit Nick did last time.
Don't worry, he's back. We haven't missed any of the plot.
So we got him into the apartment. So we're in Happy's apartment. This is when we get the conversation between him and MJ. This is where Happy's got the sleep apnea machine on over there, right? And it's talking about this, and it's the thing we've seen from the trailers, right? Are you relieved that your identity's out there? He's like, Happy is the only time things have felt normal was the 1 week where you knew, because everyone who matters in my life knew that I was Spider-Man. And now that's over, whatever. So they're going back to school tomorrow. This is, of course, ended by Happy. Of course, being like, we get it. You like each other. Hang up. I gotta get my 8 hours or whatever. Real funny stuff then. Then it's the time to go to school. And so now we're over at school, everybody. And Betty is out. Betty Brant is there. I guess COVID. Maybe she's also filming a great HBO show that you can watch on HBO Max. It's called The Mayor of Easttown. Fantastic. Kate Winslet's in it. Loved it. It's all done. You can watch it all right now on HBO Max. Good content. She's green screened into this where she's filmed, and I thought it was very. Movies have come so far, and especially on a Dolby HD 19K screen, you can just tell when it's not the same thing. Anyway, so she's there. They're doing coverage of senior year. Of course, Peter Parker coming to school in this. There's people everywhere. There's pro Spider-Man people. There's anti-Spider-Man people there. It's pandemonium. And so here it is. Peter and MJ and Ned and Flash approaching. Flash, of course, pimps his book that he wrote about how he's Spider-Man's best friend.
Flash was just continues to disappoint. Like the lines that they're giving him, I feel like I'm pity laughing at a lot of what's happening. Like I want it to be funny, but it's not working for me. It's just not working for me.
The funny thing about Flash is, I would love to talk to the director and the writers here, because you were talking about the editing room floor. If in No Way Home in Far From Home, there's a whole subplot there that he's just in like a horrible family situation. Yeah. That him texting his mom when Peter's looking around with Edith, of just like talking about his father and how they're in a bad way. When he gets there, and then like the chauffeur picks him up, and they leave it him like, mother couldn't come, and he's like, no, and it's like this weird play for a laugh weird thing in there, but it's like, I feel bad for Flash. And then in this movie, when he shows up and like, and he's like, oh shit, you guys didn't get in or whatever, and then he still does the defense mechanism, I'm gonna be an asshole about it, but there is a thing of like, I'm sorry, and he leaves. Like, I feel bad for Flash.
I just feel like the character growth that we're seeing, like, could have been done in maybe 1.5 to 2 movies, but like, it's been 3 movies and we're still kind of, we haven't moved a whole lot in terms of what he exactly is to these people. And I guess I did get a bit of a chuckle out of the, all right, you're gonna tell people that I'm your friend though. That's the rules or whatever.
Well,
like, you have to swing me around, tell people that I'm your friend. So I did get a chuckle there, but a lot of the other deliveries that he has, I'm just not feeling it.
I like that character because they kind of set it up like they're gonna kind of throw you for a loop with the expectations of him, and then he just goes right back to who he is. Because there's that one moment where we get his reaction to Peter Parker being Spider-Man, and he goes, and you think, oh my god, he's going to like reform, and
I think he
really,
yells
really,
no.
He says no, yeah.
Yeah, when Spider-Man like
yeah, it was the subway thing. I skipped it.
Jumped down. He's like no.
But you think, oh my god, he's gonna like learn from this, right? There's gonna be some reaction that's positive from this. The next scene, he is like pimping a book wrote about being Spider-Man's best friend.
Which is called Flashpoint. It's like, all right, MCU.
Which, by the way,
you don't
come
need to
on,
own that.
That's got to be a dig, right? Is that got to be a dig
100%.
somewhere? To like them bringing in the multiverse and resetting things? Nah, okay, whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah, it totally is.
They all get in, and there's, they stop MJ or whatever, and Peter tries to hang back, like, you gotta get inside the fucking building, dude, this is all about you. He gets in there where we run into the 3 teachers, the gym teacher, the science teacher.
I didn't love this scene.
And then they got to Curb Your Enthusiasm. I liked it a lot too. Well, I liked it because this was their dash for this. You know what I mean? This was them in this movie. I thought they were overused in Far From Home, to its detriment in a way. So I liked that this was a more reserved. Here they are. They made this or one of them made the trophy case, right, and worked off. I love the whole Hannibal Buress thing. Is like he's a conspiracy theorist. Like, you killed Mr. I know who you are. Like, no, listen. Yeah. And if you want, swing to class, climb up the ceiling. I love that. I'm like, I know it's crazy in the hallways. Go do it. Eventually, Peter leaves them, walks down the hall. Everybody's filming him now because he's sideshow, and this is the biggest story in the world, right? And so he's going, and then I forget what we get in more school stuff, if anything. But we then go to the roof, where him and MJ are up there reading the newspaper. Of course, this is where they're hypothesizing the newspaper that he has other abilities, like being able to control women or whatever. Yes, my Spider Master. Yeah, and so this is him being like, I can't wait to get out of here, right? We're going to MIT. It'll be a fresh start. Ned'll be there. It's gonna be great. Ned's up there already too, which is fantastic. I loved him third wheeling throughout this, but not being like an annoying third wheel, just being totally oblivious.
He interrupts that kiss moment they were gonna have, and I'm sure that it was very annoying.
Sure, but it's like everybody loves Ned, so you can't get mad about it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And so yeah, hands in, we're gonna do this thing, blah blah blah. Then is this when college letters start coming in, or yeah? And so they're rejections, rejection after rejection, because of course nobody wants Spider-Man and his crazy friends showing up and bringing the Vulture and all sorts of shit down in their school. When they finally get down to having the MIT one, the last one, this is their last chance, and it's also like their #1 school. They all go to the donut shop MJ works at and open them together and find out. In fact, they did not get in, and it is of course because, in light of recent controversies and events, because of course Spider-Man is a big problem right now, and so they start.
I really thought we were going to get a little fake out that MJ actually did get in. I thought they were going to do but she just didn't want them to feel bad. I thought they were going to lean towards something like that, but it makes a lot more sense for him to have to have that redemption of getting them all back into MIT.
Instead,
it really felt like the framing of it was implying that one of them had gotten in, and it was an interesting choice.
So yeah, MJ doesn't regret anything. She tears up her letter. She would do it all over again. Ned doesn't regret anything either. Tears his up and he's like, oh shit, well I gotta show this to my parents, right? And he leaves, me leaving Peter to be like, I got great friends, but I've kind of fucked up their entire life. How can I fix this? At which point, it already happened, I guess. MJ got yelled at by her boss to take down the Halloween decorations that somebody else was supposed to have done. So Peter looks up at them and sees the little Dracula, who again looks just like Doctor Strange, especially in this terrible wig with the terrible thing. And he's like, and so from there we go to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where Peter shows up. The doors open automatically because they are electronic. And then inside, it turns out they left a portal open to Winona, Minnesota. And so there's all this snow in there and stuff. And so there's some 2 clowns there. I don't know.
Definitely Siberia.
They're pledges. They're pledges.
Weird.
I have to watch it again.
The pledges that are there, odd choice. Odd choice to have 2 random people just hanging out there. I get that, like...
I thought they were like ghouls. They didn't say anything, and they were kind of stoic. I was like...
No, but in the past...
I would love it if Nick was like, I thought they were some, like, some weird, like, humanoid creatures. Like, oh, they were just humans.
It was weird. People. You literally have, like, a reference to a vampire, and then we come there, and these 2, like, really slow-moving zombie-like characters. It's like, are they ghouls? Are they vampires, like, minion?
So yeah, he gets there. Doctor Strange comes down. It's all stuff we've seen from the trailer, right? Of like, all right, cool. What's up? Blah blah. You can call me. You don't have to be so official. All right, Steven. Still feels weird. But it is different than what we had seen before, right? Where Wong shows up and is getting ready to leave and do his thing, and it turns out he's now Sorcerer Supreme because of due to a technicality Doctor Strange is talking about, because of course he was blipped for 5 years. So Wong's gonna go off and do his thing. They're talking about this. They go back and forth. I don't have the time stone. I can't rewind time even if I wanted to. But I could cast a spell, make everybody forget. Wong's like, don't do that. But it's not like the trailers where he was like, don't fucking do it. It was like, just don't let me know about it or whatever. Because Strange has a great line of like, do you remember the whatever party of whatever? No, exactly.
I like the sabotage. I love the trailer changes.
Me too.
The amount of lines that I was always like, I don't like that in the trailer. They fixed the majority of them. Some of the jokes were still the jokes, but in terms of plot stuff, I thought they did a really good job of Wong telling him don't do it and having him wink. I was like, I hate that, and it wasn't in this, which was really good. And also the line that I was really stuck on, which is in other universes, Spider-Man kills them all. I'm like, no, he doesn't. And in this, they didn't have that line because he didn't. So, good job.
I felt like something was weird about the relationship that they had there. It didn't seem like
Wong and Strange?
Yeah, it just didn't seem like they were as friendly as they have been. And his like, don't let me know about it.
Roommates for so long, it's just kind of like
Two ships passing.
Yeah. I just feel like when he's like fading away, like the look they give each other seems like there's more going on there. Very curious to see what we get from Doctor Strange. The Multiverse of Madness. Also, interesting that like it doesn't revert back to Doctor Strange. Like you would think you want to have it's the most powerful wizard. Are they saying that Wong is more powerful as a wizard than Doctor Strange? Because I feel like that'd be surprising.
I think they are.
More like a
I imagine that in that time,
Well, it's not.
his powers raised.
You think so?
5 years, a lot of time. Especially like if they needed
he's fighting Hulkling or whatever, the Abomination. Yeah,
I was gonna say, in the chat right now, Greg Spencer says, so Wong became Sorcerer Supreme and he spends his free time in an underground fighting ring.
Right. It's interesting. Like I don't know. Like I'm definitely curious about that, and I find it a little bit shocking that he's still the Sorcerer Supreme.
Well, I think a more interesting thing there isn't the Abomination part, but it's like the end of Shang-Chi where he like brings them in and like is looking into the 10 rings themselves. Like I think Wong's gotten major promotions where like he's clearly in control of stuff. The Abomination thing is one of the weirder plot threads that we're clearly going to get more in She-Hulk, but like Wong is in control of whatever situation that is.
They have a conversation of we can make them forget we can do the thing, and then they go into the Sanctum Sanctorum spell room. At this point, I'm going to toss it to Nick Scarpino, because if you remember, I'm still on paternity leave, and I am needed for momentarily, but I will return.
The
Greg Miller will return.
Yeah, so they go to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and they're like, listen, we're going to cast this spell. Now, anyone with a rational mind would have been like, walk me through.
What are the rules? What are the rules? Yeah.
What's happening here, Doctor Strange? Doctor Strange apparently was late for an appointment at his doctor's office or something like that, because he was like, well, we got to just get this massively world-changing spell over with.
I thought
there.
He was acting a little bit goofy the entire time, and again,
it was weird.
It was
like.
But my thing is, I feel like it's actually really in line with not what we think Doctor Strange is, but how they portray Doctor Strange in these movies, specifically with his first movie. Like, I know all of us are kind of like, oh yeah, he's really arrogant, just like Tony Stark. It's a different type of arrogance than Tony Stark has. I think that it is consistent with his characterization in his movies for him to act the way he does. When you take out the wink and you take out a lot of the trailer elements, specifically when you get to the end of this, like his kind of antagonistic relationship with Peter throughout this entire thing, and like the use of call me sir, don't call me sir, like all that stuff. When we get to the end and it is those final moments, Strange is on the top of the Statue of Liberty, still looking at Peter. They're like, "Yo, you did this. You fucked this up." Like he's being so mean, but then it immediately cuts back with when he's like, "Oh, everyone that loves you, we are all going to not remember who you are." It's like I thought that to me made everything he does in this movie work a lot better.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure
think,
he's an antagonist in this.
Yeah.
Like he fucked up. He should not have done this.
I think that like that certainly is a moment that's really well acted and hits really strong. But I do think that his behavior is like he's an intelligent person that understands that magic isn't something that's normal. Like it would make sense for him to explain stuff, but like there's also weird behavior with like he can make a spell and be like, okay, I know now that Ned and MJ probably shouldn't be included, and also I'll take myself out of it. Like that isn't something that is like not within his power. So it is weird that he didn't do any of that.
I think a lot of it is we know what type of personality he is just based on like the origin movie of Doctor Strange, but he also just doesn't really ever interact with children a whole lot. And Peter Parker is largely he's a child. Yeah, he's still a child, and like that sort of thing and irresponsibility that he sort of brings isn't something that he's super used to, especially in a place like the Sanctum Sanctorum. And so for him to be like, hey, here's a spell I've done a lot before. Sure, it's risky, but whatever. Like I've done it a bunch, and even Benedict Wong's like, okay, go for it. Like just make sure you don't fuck it up. And it doesn't seem like a huge deal, but then all of the irresponsibility and all of the sort of I guess the maturity that's lacking there from Peter Parker and being like, oh wait, well, me too. Oh, and then them too. And then it's just kind of like, fuck, I'm frustrated with this kid. Shut up. Like I don't think he intends to be this sort of like malicious, annoyed person, but Peter's just kind of way of being this young, naive kid kind of brings it out in him.
I think with that too, sorry, real quick, I just want to say that I think the theme of this movie is really revolving around help and different ideas around help, of what that means, of helping others, of asking for help, and clearly like part of the conflict here is Strange be like, you didn't ask for help for this thing, for the college admissions thing, and I like that because I feel like it all is just a bunch of layers of having Ned and Zendaya be there with him as the helping friends, and him kind of being willing to allow them to help him be Spider-Man, and it's just backed up in a lot of ways that I thought they did a good job with, that really started with this scene.
That was a fantastic moment to get to the end of it and be like, hold the fuck on.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even bother trying to go and try to clear this up. That's a great, again, like,
but
it's the sort of impatience, the impatientness, is that a word I'm trying to say? Yeah, the level of impatience just keeps on stacking with Peter, and I love that it kind of ends there and they kick him out and like, God, this fucking kid is so annoying.
It goes right to the problem.
When he did say that, I was like, wait, can you do that? That's an option. You could be like, hey, college, like, no, like, look at it.
Well, I was an Avenger, maybe, but, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think the opportunity there was like, or rather the what he was implying was you should exercise a few other options potentially first before we decide to cast this potentially world-destroying spell. But again, that's on Doctor Strange for not saying that out. It's like, why didn't you lay the reality out to this kid? Either way, he goes, okay, I'm going to go do just that, and he remembers that Flash was going to this initiation, or not initiation party, mixer, this like, what do they call him? That doesn't matter. Over at MIT, and he's like, oh, that's great. So he calls and he says, you gotta put me in touch with this person. He said, well, she is not here anymore. She had to leave early for the airport. She's on her way to one of the airports, I guess JFK or whatever. And he goes, cool, I'll meet her on the bridge. So he prepares to do that, and as he finds her car, he taps on her window and says, hi, I'm Peter Parker, and they start talking, and she's like, you did not practice this at all. And I love that his suit's wrinkled because he was wearing it underneath his spider suit. Very, very fun moment there. And then, of course, the scene is interrupted by the first of the big baddies who has come from the multiverse, Dr. Octavius Octopus Otto Octavius, Dr. Otto Octavius. And man, let me tell you, they included a lot in this, and they cut a lot out from the trailers. And I really, really, really wish they cut the fake laughing part out because when they learn his name and they fake laugh, I fucking hate that part. That is one of the only cringy moments of this movie for me.
There was another, the Scooby Doo moment too, where it's like that joke doesn't play at all.
It didn't work. They fight, great fight scene. I think great. Another bridge fight scene, a little bit of homage every time Spider-Man's on a bridge. He saves her, and she's got just a banger of one. She's like, that was a very bad thing you did. Like she starts scolding Otto. And then
don't want to get too into the details because there's not like that much I think we need to break down. But I thought, of course. Yeah, I thought this was an excellent choreographed scene. I thought the tension was there in terms of the car, especially having this one person to focus on, knowing she was stuck in this car. I love the idea of all that stuff they did, the way that when Peter ends up taking over control of the arms, like that was a theater like moment of like, oh fuck, that's really cool, and I love that because we didn't see that coming. But I really love the Iron Spider with the 4 arms versus Doc Ock with the arms. Like, God, cool comic book come to life shit.
Well, of course he gets super angry. He's like, I'm gonna tear your girlfriend piece for piece. He's like, what did you just say? And then the spider arms come out, and it's like, ooh, shit.
I wish they were better utilized. I kind of feel for a lot of the time they're just kind of just hanging there.
They were blocking though. He was like parrying and blocking.
Yeah, but like those shots were like really wide shots. Like I kind of wish we had a little bit more of a close up on certain parts, and also I wish that they were maybe blocking and like pushing them away in a way that we could see it more. But it's still, I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, super cool scene. Of course, Doc Ock gets the better of him before the nanotech goes on there, rips his chest off. The nanotech goes to him, and then he takes his mask off. The mask goes to the chest so he doesn't get stabbed, rather. And that's where he realizes this is not my Peter. He's like, who the heck are you? And then Peter uses that opportunity to overtake his suit with the nanotech, hack into it, and control the arms, which he uses then to save.
I love that it just works like Bluetooth.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So then they take him back to the Sanctorium, which he gets locked up with Doctor. Actually, Doctor Strange comes and like zaps him back to the Sanctum Sanctorum, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's so cool about this scene though is playing with our expectations as an audience, where Goblin's coming in, throws the bomb, and the camera starts going to him, and it cuts like right before he gets there. And it is such a nice kind of build up and release of just like, we're not giving you it quite yet, motherfuckers.
Well, I mean, it's not even a cut though. It's literally the sling ring.
It's almost like a wipe.
It's a wipe, yeah. But with the character staying, where really cool choice to do that as a transition.
Oh my god!
There it is, little
new one.
Little
Toretto.
Look at this
Toads we're calling them.
Audio listeners, you're missing out on a gem right now. A new puppy that Tim just got.
Toads my goats. Over at the Sanctum Sanctorum, I think this is where they get it laid out, where he's like, you gotta go find these things, right?
And then the movie becomes fucking Pokemon. Here I am, like, there's no way I can enjoy this anymore. The plot is, you're out there, you're fucking hunting down the villains for the multiverse. One shot will take them, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Great little line here from MJ where he's like, I really screwed up. I tried to cast the spell to make everyone forget, and it screwed the whole world. And she just lays it out for him. She's like, why don't you just, like, next time, I'm not saying you did the wrong thing, but maybe beforehand come to me and your friend Ned, who you trust, and let's brainstorm a couple solutions before you decide to cast a potentially world-ending spell. And
she's so rational about it.
Yeah. Great. And he's like, duly noted, I will absolutely do that for you. And mind you, I think they end up relying on each other for the rest of the time. From here,
he tells Ned, and Ned's just like, yeah, it's cool. I really don't care.
I think they catch the lizard also. Oh no, the lizard's out.
They already have him.
They already have him, right?
Strange had a cut on his face and talked about feeling an otherworldly presence.
I'm glad we didn't have to see that.
Yeah, me too. I don't think the lizard needed to be in this. Like, no. I don't know. Lizard and Sandman to me felt like I mean, Sandman, we got closure with, kind of, I guess. They cured him. I don't know that he wanted to get cured. He's been Sandman for maybe 15 years.
That's the tough one, is that the Lizard and Sandman both had sort of closure, right? Like, Lizard was cured.
Lizard was cured.
And so having it, and Sandman was sort of like cool with him. He's like, hey man, I'm cool. I'm not going to rob anything anymore. Like, see you later.
The one thing that I've been thinking about a lot is Electro, because Electro doesn't know Peter's identity. And they even make that clear in this movie.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
right. But whatever. It is.
That's a good hole
That
you
is
found there,
actually-
Tim Tam.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Well, let's skip ahead over to that though, because they get a pulse, and Peter's like, "Oh man, my costume's all green. I can't possibly wear all this green out there. So what should I do? I'm gonna turn this costume inside out."
So scared for the wires.
So cool. So
scared for the wires.
It's so funny to think about all the theories that we had going into it and why. Like, the theories were, Nick, that he turned it inside out to reverse the polarity of being in a different universe, and there was all this shit going. No, he just had slime on it.
someone
He's got slime. Yeah.
because they were pissed at him.
I want to give a shout to the score in this scene where they're like the three kids are all kind of messing around and he's trying to clean the suit, and it's just like this real funky psychedelic Doctor Strange-ish take on the original Tom Holland MCU theme, and I thought it was really fun.
From here, we go back out to the woods because we've got some crazy shit happening out in the power lines in the middle of nowhere. So Spider-Man takes the suit out there with his phone strapped to his chest, webbed to his chest rather, so that MJ and Ned can
It was duct tape.
Was it duct tape?
Yeah.
So
Which
that
I was
MJ
like, there's no way that they can see anything out of that camera.
No. It's gonna be so
Yeah.
shaky. It's gonna make you want to throw up. Maybe we can have a line there too, where he's like, "Oh, this is making me nauseous."
Yeah. Quick question. So the suit that we've seen him wear had a camera that he could stream before, right? Are we to assume that all of that technology is down right now?
Presumably, because he's not on the Stark Network anymore, right? It says I'm not on. So like, remember because he fires it up.
We see Edith offline.
It's all offline.
And is that all because of the government stepping in?
That's what I presumed. Either that, or they just took his control away because he didn't want to do it anymore. I don't know.
I don't know that he didn't.
Well, I guess he was in control of it at the end of the last movie, right?
That's right. Yeah.
We should still have control. It's weird.
I have to. I mean, I think the easy assumption is that like it's a government. Yeah.
Shut it down. That makes sense.
Because of the drones that were Stark.
So he goes out there, and of course, who does he meet? He meets Sandman, who you're like, oh no, Sandman's gonna kick his ass, and he goes, oh no, Sandman. He
introduces himself in the weirdest way possible.
Hey, Spider-Man, it's me, Flint Marko. You know me. It's like, Andy, how many guys do you meet that are made of sand?
Yeah, it was such a weird introduction.
That was weird, and also the line where Octavius was like, he's like, where's my device? And he's like, what device? And he goes, the power of the sun in the palm of my hand. And Peter's like, I don't, what the fuck you talking about?
That was a great line, though. Great moment.
I feel like the auto line is very much for like, oh, that's what they remember of him. Let's put that in there to you know.
Well, it also is echoed later, right? Set up for the line later where he holds the
which is a good fucking moment.
It's a cool line.
Yeah. And then the Flint Marko, I always felt like his character was from the 1920s. And that is like the 1920s kind of way to introduce yourself.
It's a goofy line for sure. And obviously, he's only there to like let the audiences that didn't just watch Spider-Man 3 know, hey, this guy has history. His name's Flint Marko. They reference that later. But what I really do love is like not the dialogue, but how it was done. I love Electro, the thing going through him being blue when we first see him, and then kind of attacking Peter, but then Sandman saving him and like talking to him. I'm like, oh my god, like that was such a win moment for me where I'm like, these are the same characters, and like there's gonna be some depth to this where it's not just Sinister Six type vibes. It is. These are the villains that have their sympathetic ends in some ways, and we're dealing with that new story. Right, and really, really smart choice. They fight, and Sandman runs distraction while Peter pulls the power plug from Electro, and then he's able to trap Electro in the Pokemon ball that is the Sanctum Sanctorum. And then somehow, I think, doesn't Doctor Strange show up too, and then blasts him and send him back? I can't remember how he gets. No. He accidentally puts Sandman back in the cage.
The first thing he does is he accidentally shoots through Electro, and it takes a tree in. And we have that great moment of them being like, you think this is a scientist that turned himself into a tree?
Right.
But then he catches it, right?
I think so.
No. There's the conversation when Electro is like talking and like he's normal and then he's naked and then he trust in his outfit and then he shoots Jamie Foxx and he's like, what the fuck you just do to him?
But we don't see that. It's a cut to Jamie Foxx in there being like, huh? Right?
Yeah, no, but Marco's like, what did you just do? Did you just kill him? And then that's right. Then Marco attacks him and he shoots him and puts him down, right? Yeah, that's what he does. Shout out to Jamie Foxx, still looking fan-fucking-tastic.
So good. Better than ever.
Just so unbelievable. And then they go back and he tries to explain what's going on. We get a little bit of character development here with the characters kind of knowing each other. I think, right?
That was cool, yeah.
Which was cool.
Doc Ock was talking about Norman, and then Electro was like, oh, hey, you're the guy, the the doctor
Lizard?
from this, the
Right.
lizard, and the lizard then responds to him, and everyone's like, oh, the lizard talks.
Of course, this is where Doctor Strange comes in. Is this where Doctor Strange comes in with the box?
No, I think that's later because we still have to get Norman. So what happens is
this is where we see Norman, right? Norman comes in and
well, yeah.
Does he attack him?
He connects all the electrical wires. He stays there overnight. The next day, his aunt calls him, and he goes to meet her at feast.
One of the guys you're looking for is here.
Right,
and then runs in.
Segment where he snaps the terrible mask.
Yeah, the Goblin No More moment, which is so good. The framing of this is exactly like the Spider-Man No More cover, where Spider-Man puts his mask on and leaves, and this is him, Goblin No More. Fucking great stuff, guys.
So of course he enters the feast ready to kick some ass, but he finds Norman Osborn.
Cooper! I gave him a piece of bacon. Well, he took it back there. I ain't eating it. Yeah, he's over in front of the fireplace eating it. I was gonna say, I think you done got a habit where, you'll only eat them outside. Oh, okay. Because I've been noticing that too, but give him one outside, or when he takes one outside, he eats it right away. What? 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 So you got one in the house, man? You go outside? Go outside. You wanna go out? You can go up the street. You wanna go outside? Huh? You wanna go outside? Or you gonna jump up there? Come on. Yeah. He's dropping it now, see? What the hell? Oh, it look like. Yeah, great. I like barbecue, but sometimes I take some soup instead, you know? Oh! 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 That's gotta hurt, man. Yeah, it does. You ever heard of road burn? Oh. You straight, come on. You got that? Come on. Come on. Go outside. Go on, go party. Go party. Cooper! Cooper, go party. Go on. Wanna go outside, Cooper? Come on. I'll give a treat to Tinka. Huh? He ain't been out this morning on Friday. I'll give a treat to Tinka. Hey. He's so jealous he can't help himself. Yeah. Yeah, he's treating his mouth though. I said, yeah, he's treating his mouth though. Well, damn. Tinka's actually out there now. Hey man, them dogs can hear really, really good. Yeah. Tinka. I take it that's all you're getting from me, girl. Man. Boy, it's cold out there. Mm-mm. Mm. Shang-Chi. Oh, shit. He's a Hank man. Oh, yeah? World of ghetto life. Where's Cooper? Is he still outside? Huh? Cooper still outside? What? I said, is Cooper still outside? Yeah. Fine, buddy, man. Fine. Okay. Well, living in a world of ghetto life, nothing wrong.